So I just wanted to make a quick video about this windscreen from KTM. This is the KTM parts. It's the bigger of the two options. The smaller one just comes up to the actual display right here. But I bought this thing, I think, in a post-purchase craze to try to grab something to accessorize your bike. I mean, it's a naked bike. We've all been down this road. That my BMW S1000R had a screen on it that made marginal difference. I kept it on because of highway runs, but it was, the body position on that bike was different. You're certainly canted more forward, and so it's more of a natural head tuck position than this bike, which is just, it's more upright, which means it's way more comfortable, but practically speaking, you got to dig in there. So I mean, the price was fine. It was under $100. It was super easy to install. The looks, it doesn't look good. I think I can clearly say that. I don't think it looks horrible, but I think it probably looks way better without it. Especially from the front. It has this awkward double bubble effect there, and I'm not sure if that was necessary or not, but from the side it looks okay. Better than that head-on shot. And anywhere back here, you really, I mean, it doesn't really affect the appearance that much, but I don't know. Let's get on the bike and I'll talk a little bit about how it feels. But I think a lot of people out there reaching for these screens, and they're not always a clear benefit. So I'm using a GoPro Hero 4. I've been using this thing since 2015, I think. Yeah, 2015. And it works, but the image quality is, it's less than adequate. So instead of going for a new GoPro with the whole like casing system and the microphone issues and everything like that, sometimes the SD cards give me an issue on this thing, I go to Insta 360 because I hear other motovloggers talking about how it's the most reliable thing they've ever used. So that's all I want, reliable with an updated image quality. And the whole 360 thing is kind of cool too. So I got a 1RS Insta 360, comes in the mail, gets to me, the screen doesn't turn on, already a bad sign, won't connect to the application, another bad sign. I can't even set the thing up. I go through emails with tech support for about a week, back and forth, asking me to try everything on this thing, including borrowing somebody else's phone to try to get the thing to work, when clearly the screen wouldn't turn on. How someone else's phone would make a difference on that? But, you know, I understand. They get a job, they have to go through a certain protocol. And what they wouldn't accept, they won't just let you return it. You think you open the thing, the screen doesn't work, you return the thing. No, it has to be unopened and within like 16 days of purchase. Crazy. Crazy. So I go through this for about a week back and forth, and they set me up with their engineer, who I have to make an appointment for business hours in Beijing. So I'm setting an appointment with someone in Beijing to try to remotely fix the camera. So I do that. It's like 8:30 West Coast United States time, and like 11 o'clock or so, 11:30 a.m. Beijing time. It didn't work, not surprisingly. So now you have to go through this thing where you fill out some forms and then you return the camera for repair, and it's going to take a while to come back. This isn't a, you know, a horror story compared to other people, and you know, having this happen to like their daily driver, their cars, or something more necessary than a camera for someone like myself who has absolutely no income expectations or professional involvement in YouTube whatsoever. It's just like a fun thing to do once in a while. So, but it's frustrating because this thing's, you know, whatever package. My wife bought this thing for me because it was a kind Father's Day present, or a birthday present. Sorry, at that point. But it's, you know, for the cost and you know, to have, I think it's 500 and something bucks with whatever packages she got. To have that kind of response with the really, I mean, they basically turn you into customer service. You're servicing your own product, and for that cost, it should be, the thing works fine. I'll address it with you, you know, once or twice, you know, over the phone directly. And if things aren't working out, send that sucker in for a refund, or just we'll replace it and turn it back around to you pretty quick. So I'm just disappointed. I'm not sure if that would fit with their business model in terms of how many of these things get returned and whether or not to be viable if they had a service like that, but it's pretty disappointing. So at this point I was wishing I went with GoPro. But it's too late now because you can't get a refund. So let's hope the next one works. But for any of you who are wondering what the customer service experience is like if you do get a doozy when you order one, it's no picnic. They do respond, I'll give them that. They do respond. You send a message, they send you a message back. They set that time with the guy from Beijing, and you know, it went down. It was a little clunky in terms of turn this app on to now that, you know, but they get it done. They support you. So I give them credit for being, you know, invested. It's just the protocols they follow are not up to standard, I would say, for a product at that price and what we come to expect here, at least in America, for customer service. I don't know about other places, but it's a bit atypical to be run around so much and to have a list of, you know, 10 or 12 things to try on your own to fix something. Anyway, that's over. So back to this windscreen. Long story short, it doesn't make much of a difference. I'm 6'2", and I'm sure someone taller than me would have even less of a benefit. But I'm looking down now, you can see that screen is well below me. And I also have the higher seat. I have that PowerPod's tall seat. Now, I'll talk about this later, but this thing is a gem. But I'm above the screen, so if I tuck down like this, I get a little bit of protection from the highway. I can do that, but at this point, and the seat made it worse too, at this point the tuck-in is uncomfortable enough. I'd rather keep the wind blast, and I think it does probably take something off the chest. It's just not extraordinary. And with this bike, I mean, just considering what it is, I've come to avoid long highway stints. Even now, you want to try to find a road with some corners to play on, because that's what this thing's all about. Find corners. If there's no corners around you, I have to say, I'd wonder, and you're not taking to the track, I'd wonder what the benefit of this bike would be. Clear benefit compared to competitors, but I just come to avoid the highway. It's just not, you know, it's a fairly light bike. It does fine on the highway. It's stable. It's got plenty of pull. I mean, it'll be running at super highway speeds without breaking a sweat. It's just not enjoyable, and to drive this thing in a straight line like that, it's a bit of a shame. So anyone who's under 6 feet, it may be a different story, because it's all about the comfort in tucking in. It does actually take wind off your neck and your face if you're tucking in at highway speed. So if you get a commute to work and you just want to, you know, do everything bike, and you're shorter than I am, and your tuck-in actually gets, you know, the part of your helmet, you know, close to the top of the screen, because it does have a lip that shoots it up. So I think if you get pretty close to it in terms of the top of your helmet, or even mid-helmet, you can get down there without terrible discomfort. It may actually be worth it for you. But if you're taller, I think it's all going to be in your head, or you have some minimal benefits from wind off the chest, which, again, yeah, a little bit, but you know, once again, I'm searching corners. I'm not doing 70 plus. I know the chest isn't an issue, and it just doesn't look good. It's better without it. I think, in retrospect, I would have got the short screen that just kind of creates some bug protection for the back of this readout, this display. Brakes on that one. Oof. Brutal. Well, if you too are a middle-aged father that's overstressed, I'd recommend a prescription for 890 Duke R. Because I am feeling better already. This thing is so easy fast. You just pick up speed and carry speed in ways you don't realize. This thing has a shift light on it, but your head is nowhere near that screen. If you're looking down at your shift light, you got issues, man. The last thing you ever see.